You ready for this, bud?
I'm ready.
You ready?
Let's do it.
Sure. What's up? What's happening? What's going on, folks? And welcome back to another episode of the Fish and Films Movie Reviews. I'm Matt Fischioni, and welcome to the one and the only talk show where we talk, review, and recommend movies. Thank you all for joining me for yet another episode. One of the great things here on Fish and Films is we're going to have guests on here. And joining me for the very first time is the one and only Mark Bassler. Mark, how does it feel to be the very first guest here on Fish and Films?
Oh man, it feels amazing. You know, I love talking about movies, I love watching movies, and doing this is an amazing opportunity, so thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. I got one question for you before we get started. What is your favorite movie of all time?
My favorite movie of all time? That's a tricky one. I think my favorite of all time that I've seen so far has to be Deadpool.
Wow, what a choice.
It has to be.
Any reason why it's your favorite, or?
Because I grew up watching Deadpool a lot. You know, he's like my all-time favorite Marvel character. I do love watching Marvel a lot, but Deadpool, he kills it every time, man.
Awesome.
You gotta love him.
Awesome. Now, one more thing. Do you think that he deserves to be in the MCU?
I believe so. He's got everything. He's got the skills. He's got the talent. You know, he deserves a good shot at this.
I mean, who wouldn't want Deadpool to be in the MCU? Glenn Morales.
Quite unfortunate.
That does it!
But anyways, speaking of Marvel, have you heard about the new Disney and Sony deal that they have with Spider-Man?
Yes, yes.
He is back in the MCU for a third film, and it's going to be released on July 16th in 2021. I don't know about you, but I talked about it last week where I had this feeling that the door wasn't going to be closed, and surely enough, he's coming back for a third and potentially final time. I mean, how do you have to feel about this?
I mean, you know, Spider-Man, I've grown up with Spider-Man for like years now. Spider-Man was my childhood, my all-time favorite superhero. So having this amazing opportunity, this will be a historic moment for Spider-Man. Absolutely.
And all we need left is to have all the Spider-Man, live action and animated, come together, team up with Tom Holland. And because it is an upcoming movie, we actually do have one for you right here because a trailer came out a couple of days ago, and that is the new edition of the DCEU, the Birds of Prey trailer.
The Joker and I broke up. I wanted a fresh start. But it turns out I wasn't the only dame in Gotham looking for emancipation.
When I saw Suicide Squad, I really wasn't a huge fan of it, but one of my favorite parts of the entire movie was obviously Harley Quinn. I felt like that character really spoke to me, but now we're getting a new film where, you know, it's telling more about her story. I honestly can't wait for it. How do you have to feel about it?
I feel amazing about it. You know, I watched the trailer like a few days ago, and the trailer itself just like speaks like everything. It's like I've watched the whole movie in one or 2 minutes.
Oh,
you know?
Really?
Yeah, I think like Harley is now getting an amazing new opportunity, and like it's almost like, you know, how Harley and all the other villains are supposed to be like the bad guys, but it seems like this movie is now like Harley's going to be like the main protagonist of this movie, so it's like a big plot twist.
Absolutely. And one of the newest additions of Birds of Prey that I'm actually very excited was Ewan McGregor playing as Black Mask. I'm not sure if you saw any of the Star Wars prequel movies. One of the most beloved actors to ever play Obi-Wan Kenobi in Star Wars ever. Honestly, I cannot wait for him, and I hope that in one part of the movie he says his famous lines in Episode 3, and that is, "Hello there."
Hello there.
It's a very famous line, but
Yep.
but anyways, so one of the additions here on Fish and Films is at the end we like to review movies that we all like to see. And Mark, I believe you have a movie that you want to review for us today.
As a matter of fact, I do. One of the movies that I've seen that came out last month that I've seen a few weeks ago that everyone was talking about, it has to be the It movie, Part 2. Chapter 2, I mean, and and I gotta tell you, it's exactly what I was expecting. You know, the same storyline because of as the miniseries back in 1990, where the author Stephen King wrote about it. I mean, I completely understand like everything. It has to like come the same exact storyline. You're you're knowing the jump scares and all the losers, and Pennywise is like the still same monster. It's everything that I'm completely expecting. But if I'm going to be honest with you, Matt, I think that Chapter 2 has to be. I think Chapter 2 was okay. I was completely expecting everything, but I think Part 1 back in 2017 was a little bit better than this one. I mean, I give the people a lot of credit. I think this was a fantastic movie, but there are some parts that could probably be like rearranged for Chapter 2. But I think it was a fantastic movie, and I cannot wait to see what more is to come.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you because as someone like me who actually loved the first one, the hype for Chapter 2, everyone was really worried of it could, achieve the same success that Chapter 1 did. And I thought it was pretty good, but an issue that I had was I felt like it was a little bit more comedic. I think because since we had adult actors playing the kids anymore, I feel like they had some lines to it that I felt like that were funny, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, in every horror movie or in any movie period, you always need to have comedy to actually like lighten up the mood. But there were times where I felt like it was a little bit too much. But I will say, performance-wise, Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise, he was fantastic in Chapter 1, and he was fantastic in Chapter 2. This guy was honestly born to play Pennywise. He brings such an eerie presence, with his makeup and especially his smile and all the balloons that he's carrying. I mean, it is unbelievable what the guy is capable of, and I just love him as Pennywise.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta give him a lot of credit, and I completely 100% agree with you. He killed the first part, and he killed the second part.
From a scale from 1 to 10, how would you rate the movie?
That's a tricky one. I think overall, I think I'm going to give the movie an 8 out of 10 because again, I was completely expecting the storyline was the same, the jump scares, you're expecting the jump scares, but overall, it was a fantastic movie. Like the storyline was fantastic and just so amazing. But again, like I said, there could be some parts that could be changed for Chapter 2, which is why I like Chapter 1 a little bit better. But overall, great movie. I give a whole lot of credit to the cast.
Absolutely. And to give my rating, I'm also going to give it Chapter 2 an 8 out of 10. Not as nearly as great as Chapter 1, but still amazing performances by the actors. Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise is amazing. And the overall tone and the finale of it all, of this story of the Losers Club, perfect way to end it. On that note, we are all out of time. Thank you all so much for joining me. Until next time, I'm Matt Fischioni. He's Mark Bassler. And tune in for our next episode of the Fish and Films Movie Reviews. Woo! Woohoo!